I am Yair Davidi. I am speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. I'm speaking to you on behalf of Brit Am Hebrew Nations, an organisation that represents the Lost 10 Tribes and their identification. We identify the Lost 10 Tribes as now being amongst Western peoples. And that is what we do. That's what we believe in. That's what we prove. And that is what we are involved with full time. This is what we do all the time, and this is what we have proven, and we have adequate proofs and evidence concerning it, and we produce this evidence and these proofs to the public, and we endeavour to bring them to the attention of as many people as possible. But very often we seem to be fighting uphill. We seem to have to encounter a lot of opposition and a lot of objections, but that we endeavour to overcome. But and we go ahead. We need funds, we need help, and we also need to spread the message. So the President Toga is concerned with this. Is concerned with coming back, the idea of coming back to Israel. Sometimes we tell people, we inform people that they are descended from Israel. We tell non-Jewish people that we tell them that they are from the Lost 10 Tribes of Israel. Originally there were 12 tribes of Israel, 12 united tribes of Israel. They're split into two different sections. The northern section comprised 10 tribes. This section of the 10 tribes was conquered, taken away by the Assyrians, lost consciousness of their ancestry, and they disappeared. But historically we show how they were taken into the north, taken into different areas, and from there, in stages, every different section of them moved to the west, and they all converged and recoalesced on the same areas. We prove where they are. And we tell people who come from these regions, who are almost certainly, or to have for whom there is a high degree of probability that they're sent from Israel, we tell people about that. And sometimes the police hear the message and they accept it, and they suddenly ask us 5 minutes later, or years later, or a few minutes later, it depends on the individual. But quite frequently they suddenly ask us, so when is the government of Israel, the government of the state of Israel, when is the government of Israel going to recognise us as being from Lost 10 Tribes? And when is when are they going to allow us to come to live in the state of Israel? When are they going to give us the same right as the Jews? Sometimes they said, you know what, we'll do you a favour. We won't even accept, or we won't even ask for the benefits that new Jewish immigrants get when they come to Israel. We'll pay our own way. Just let us come in alongside of the Jews who are there. And this is what they say to us, and we have to answer this question. And this question repeats itself in different forms, over and over again. We have articles replying to it. On our website we have also given talks about it. But the thing is, the point is that it's not so simple. It's not so simple, it's not so straightforward, it's not exactly like that. And perhaps we can bring a parable, an allegory, that will explain the situation better. It might be likened to someone, you come to someone, you're a researcher, say you're a researcher in genealogical records, or you're doing research, and you come across information that someone, let's call him Joe, so a person called Joe is probably, but not with absolutely certainty, but there's a good chance, a high probability that a certain person is descended from kings, is of royal blood, and a rich realm, a whole kingdom once belonged to his ancestors, and one member of the family has already gone back and is now proving himself, is now endeavouring very strongly against a lot of opposition, against great hardship, but he is nevertheless making a struggle, making an effort, and after all that hasn't been successful in claiming back a small portion of the inheritance. And this other person is definitely of the royal blood. Let us call him Judah. This person, Judah, has already succeeded in getting back part of the land. And so we tell Joe, give Joe this information. So Joe turns around and he says, very nice, very good. When do I get my share? When am I going to get my share? When am I going to get my portion of the goodies? And then we have to tell Joe that the information needs to be finally confirmed in a way is acceptable to more of the experts. We ourselves believe in it. We ourselves have supplied some of it. We have strengthened and confirmed the other aspects of the evidence that other people came up with, and we have given them for something of our own or information that came to our own attention. We too have contributed to this research, and we believe in that, but it needs more confirmation, needs to be confirmed in ways that are acceptable to all of the experts, not only to us, and also knowledge of the existing findings that are quite impressive. There is quite a lot of proofs, but all of this knowledge has to be brought to the attention of the relevant authorities, to the general public. It has to become accepted, more generally known about, and so on. Work has to be done on it. And not only that, but there are other brothers involved. Other brothers, not only Joe, but there are other brothers around, and also they have to be told about this information. They have to be given their chance to participate. They have to be informed of these truths. And on top of that, the brother Judah is already doing part of the work. We have to approach him, we have to explain to him, we have to convince him, we have to endeavour to make him more amenable to accepting, to countenancing other members of the family being involved in this issue, and so on. And not only that, we say that we are, all of these things are actually going forward. There are people such as ourselves who are working at it. We are bringing forth new evidence. We are talking to people. We are making the evidence available. We are talking to Judah. We are talking to everyone involved in the issue. And we are doing our part, and we have had some small degree of success, but even that small degree of success that we have had has been enough to show us that they could be exponentially increased with just a little bit of effort, with just a little bit more help. We could increase our effect very much more than we have been done. We asked Joe, since we ourselves are very low on funds and need these funds to functioning, we asked Joe if he could help us, since after all it is for his sake, and he is going to be the major beneficiary in this matter. And by this time Joe is probably tired out, or he has not lost interest in the thing, and he may even feel a little bit resentful to us, as if we have robbed him of his kingdom, or whatever he thought he was going to receive without having to do anything to obtain it. And so this is a reaction we received, and we have reacted to it. We've written articles about it. The articles are present on our website and in our publications, and we have shown, put forward our version of what has to be done and what needs to be done. And we have given the impression of what Joe needs to do, what the attitude of Joe should be. And we have shown that said that the 10 tribes have to accept the knowledge of their Israelite ancestry. They have to help spread this knowledge. They have to help ensure it becomes widely accepted. They also should, as whole bodies of people, they should conquer and settle other areas of the land around Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and so on, that are also part of the Promised Land, and that the Bible prophesies that the lost 10 tribes will come back and settle in. And Joe himself has to take an active part, has to put his handle on the matter, and he has to help us, or he should help us, because we are the ones who are doing something about it. And he should also be more involved himself. And this is what we have been stressing, and it may be that we have exaggerated a little bit. It's not all that one-sided as we have made it sound, because we were reacting to a state of indifference, an attitude that we thought was negative. So we had to stress put a little bit of stress in the opposite direction. But it's not that simple. And once again, it's not that simple. There is indeed a point that Judah will be involved, and Judah will be actively involved to bring back the lost 10 tribes. And this too should be recognised, and we should also recognise it more, and find a balance between the two attitudes. There's a midrash in Yalkut Shimoni, Shirim, based on the Bible. It says the 10 tribes who were exiled beyond the Sambatian River are they whom the exiled of Judah and Benjamin are destined to go unto and to bring them back in order to inherit with them the days of the Messiah and life in the world to come. As it says in Jeremiah, book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 18, those days the house of Judah shall go unto the house of Israel. King James is the word Yelaku, El, is translated as walk with, but actually the Hebrew understanding of the Midrash is it means go unto, and this is possibly more acceptable. To all events, Judah shall go unto the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto their forefathers. In other words, Judah is going to take the initiative, and Judah is going to help bring those 10 tribes back. This is confirmed by the Bible and also by Midrashic sources. Midrashic sources, in other words, say that the rabbis agree that this is how the Bible should be interpreted on this passage. That Judah should also take an initiative, the Jews are destined to take an initiative and bring lost 10 tribes back. As we said, there were originally 12 tribes of Israel. They split into 2 different sections. 10 tribes were in the north. The tribes of Judah and Benjamin were in the south, also with many from Levi and also minority elements from all the other tribes, but nevertheless the whole is called Judah, and they were based on the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. So when the Midrash speaks about the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, he means the Jewish people. And indeed, they are referred to in the book of Jeremiah as the house of Judah. The house of Judah is that portion of the Israelite nation who gave rise to the Jewish people, whereas the majority of the Israelite tribes were in the north, and they were the ones who were taken away by the Assyrians, and they were the ones who lost consciousness of their identity. And we will talk more on these matters in future talks. We will show how the Jews in Israel, the land of Israel, are indeed preparing the way for the other tribes. See Micah chapter 4 verse 8, Hosea chapter 6 verse 11, Isaiah 56 verse 8. See them according to their simple literal meanings. Also we will show that rabbinical commentaries on these verses also justify this understanding that Jews will help the lost 10 tribes return, and that when the 10 tribes come back, they will come back not only to the area now occupied by the present-day state of Israel, but they'll also come back to the areas round about, such as Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and they will conquer and settle in these areas, says Zechariah 10:10, Micah 7:14. And this was the part of the Promised Land. The Promised Land, in effect, stretched from the Nile River to the Euphrates River, and it included a great good portion of the Middle East, as we have shown in our talks and in our writings, and we will return to this issue. Also, at the beginning, some of the Jews will be reluctant to accept the lost 10 tribes when they return. They will say that they were exiled and they were alone and oppressed, and they did all the work, and why should the lost 10 tribes come back? Where were they all this time? See Isaiah 49:21. Nevertheless, they will accept them. The lost 10 tribes will be accepted, and Judah and Ephraim representing all of the 10 tribes, they will work together and cooperate together and defeat their enemies. See Isaiah 11:12 and other verses. Also, there are differences in religion between lost tribes and the Jews, and these will be resolved, in part at least, when the lost 10 tribes return, as indicated by Ezekiel 11:12. 11:2 and 11:18, and other different future talks, Be'ezrat Hashem, God willing, will deal with these issues. But that is the point. The point is that the lost 10 tribes, descendants of Israel, should realize that they should do something. They should help us. They should help us spread this message. They should be actively involved in the subject. They should not leave it all to Judah. But nevertheless, Judah indeed will be involved. And we are endeavouring to bring about a state of affairs that will facilitate the future involvement of Judah, of the Jews, as well as descendants of lost 10 tribes, who are those who need to know the message more than anyone else. Thank you very much. May God bless all of you. We have been speaking to you from Jerusalem, which is the capital of Israel, and in the future the capital of all of the tribes of Israel, and eventually of all of the world. Thank you.